Well, let's start the news. And wherever you're watching us from, we say we're grateful. And for all of you watching us, good morning to you. Jesse Kweku Hamilton, you're in Accra. Please make sure that you stick and stay with the channel. But let's bring you the latest update of the news. And Ghana's quest of ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and also promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030 under Goal 4 of the Sustainable Development Goals might not be achievable as poor infrastructure continues to defeat the principles of access to quality education. These are the sentiments of residents of Woman No Good in the Amenfi West municipality of the Western region as a 6-unit classroom block for basic school students awarded as a Get Fund project way back in 2012 had since been abandoned for the past 6 years, forcing pupils and teachers to undertake lessons in a makeshift community center. Correspondent Inatalia Kwanza visited the community and updates us on the latest.
The school, with enrollment of over 200, was expected to have been completed in 2014, but was soon deserted when the project got to its lintel level in 2012. 12 years since the original school building collapsed, students and teachers have to endure a lot of noise from around while they study in the open.
Since 2010, so we're about good 8 years now. And look at the structure. So I have allocated the classroom among the teachers. And see, the place is open. You can see it's open. So in fact, teaching and learning is very difficult for us. The place is not for us. It's the what do you call it? It's a community center. Purposely for them to do any social gathering here.
The longest serving teacher in the school, Esther Mponsa, appeals to education authorities to continue the project.
I've been here for about 6 years now, and this area is very terrible. Sometimes as a teacher, if you are having your activity, that will help the people to impact their knowledge. The other class are also looking at you. They are also losing their concentration on what the teacher is teaching them. So this is a problem to us. And when there is too sunshine, it gives us a lot of heat. And the children are also facing problems. They are not concentrating on what we are teaching here. So it is giving us a lot of problems. So we are appealing to the government that they should come to our aid and come and help us.
The same ground is used for funerals, and the students say they are constantly hunted by ghosts.
Yes, school dining. I'm here, Mamma did definitely see a best school cry into me, Shiade. If you are crying, Shiade, no being who's summoned. And so, as a was school damn and so any muna, and to me, Shiade, no map.
This facility serves a dual purpose in this community. As part of its dual activities of the facility, funerals are held here, where bodies are laid in state. Our old building collapsed when I was in KG1, and now I'm in class 6.
Assembly member and presiding member of the area, Alhaji Azuru, says he has lost count of the number of letters and complaints he has made concerning the abandoned Get Fund projects.
It is sad that you would be leading people and you have the expectation that children that are within this community will have the best of education. Then along the line, this is what you are confronted with. The building that is just right behind us was started about 7 years ago when a community one that we're using collapsed. So once there was nothing, I decided with the community that we will have to put up a community center. But the purpose of that place was for community gathering and then funerals and other things. But because we had no building, we had to use that place as a school. What I have done so far is to write to the assembly that they should forward it to the Get Fund administration so that they give us the opportunity to continue with the building. You see, quite apart from where we are keeping the children that we all see as a bad place, teachers are not also feeling comfortable at all. You bring a teacher around only to come and put him in an open space to teach. Teachers who are posted here, they spend maximum 3-4 months and they will seek for transfer and leave.
So we have other communities also in the Amenfi West district which we couldn't go there because of the bad nature of their roads, which are in worse conditions than we have seen in this report. All they are seeking for is that duty bearers, MPs, DCEs, MCEs, all stakeholders will come on board and then help elevate the stature of some of these schools. Reporting for Joy News in Athalia Kwanzaa of Radio Max, Amenfi West, Western Region.
And for the last 48 hours, Ghanaians, or those who use public transport and generally buy fuel, have experienced an upward adjustment of fuel prices at the pumps. But these prices at which you buy fuel at the pumps could have been going down by some 10% if government was bold enough to remove the special petroleum tax on the product. Well, that's according to the minority in Parliament. They are currently demanding that government immediately scraps the levy, which was introduced way back in 2015 when the price of fuel fell to record low levels across the world. Minority spokesperson on Mines and Energy, Adams Mutawakilu, says it is insensitive for government to do nothing so far to cushion Ghanaians in the light of the increasing fuel prices, which he says is a result of poor management of the city.
By 15th of October, we'll start going to the various regions, the various districts, to educate them to know the reason why we are calling for the special petroleum tax to be removed. Currently, it's about 46 pesos per liter. And if it's about 5 liters a gallon, you are talking about 2 cedis, 2 pesos. If you calculate it, and if you take it off or calculate it as a percentage, that's about 10%. So if you reduce it by about 10%, you see that it would have absorbed this 5% and will still have a surplus. So we call on Nana Akufo-Addo 2 main things. Look, work on the economy. The cedi is depreciating fast against the dollar. 2, remove the special petroleum tax. We don't need it at this stage, and the people of Ghana dearly need it at this point in time to be removed.
In another development, Mr. Adams Mutawakilu is demanding that the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, fast-tracks investigations into allegations the bulk oil storage and transportation company, BOST, illegally transferred some $40.5 million or Ghana cedis into the account of the presidency managed by the Chief of Staff during the NDC administration. The bulk oil distributors company has described the transaction as suspicious, but Mr. Mutawakilu says the EOCO investigations could ultimately vindicate the NDC government.
EOCO is looking at it, and my information is that there is nothing like wrongdoing. Somebody has embezzled money. No. It is a public account. You get my point? It's a public account. There are records to trace. If not, all records would have been destroyed. So in the spirit of good governance, transparency, you follow to the logical conclusion. So I don't see the reason why it's made as if the Chief of Staff put the money in his personal account. No, it is an official account. Official exchange letters took place, put in a file. Another government comes. EOCO is investigating it. I think that EOCO to fast track it to come with the truth, because there is nothing hidden. And I also believe that it is because of these 2 scandals that has hit BOST they want a cover-up. If not, you didn't need to bring anything of this nature once it is being investigated by Yoko.
Cutting down the excess public expenditure in order to protect the public purse could only be possible if the political actors give the public servants mandated to do so the necessary support. And this is the call of the Chief Policy Analyst of the Ghana Institute of Public Policy Options, Dr. Charles Rekubrobe, speaking to JoyNews Emefa Atiamueli ahead of the Banredu Memorial Lectures. Dr. Charles Rekubrobe said the only way Ghana could check wastage of resources is to support individuals who work hard to guard the public purse, like the Auditor General, Daniel Domolevo.
People do not like to give up power easily. And if people are sitting at the center and they've been so used to many years of doing things in a certain way that keeps the power within them, then they are afraid of change. And what the tomorrow's speaker has done is that he has shown that without changing the laws of Ghana, without seeking new legislation, the existing legislation can be made to work to check the excesses of people who don't do what they should be doing. For example, let me give my own example. I was delighted when he said he was going to check the quality of roads that are passed as fit for purpose in this country. I was delighted because I am a trained engineer. And for me, one of the most ridiculous and abiding shame I have is that I have fellow engineers who pass roads as fit for purpose just for them to fall apart in 6 months' time. You know, it is unpardonable that any engineer worth their salt should go and certify a road as having met the standard required so that people can be paid and so that they may benefit from whatever. So when the Auditor General says, oh, he knows that there are methods by which you can check whether the road that had been constructed has met its purpose, and that he has the power to do that. And I'm saying to myself, there's somebody showing innovation. There's somebody saying, oh, as long as I am committed to do the job that I've been asked to do, there are ways and means in which it can be done. Now that's of course ruffling the well-established feathers, and there will be resistance. If we really are serious about protecting the public purse, then people like tomorrow's speaker should be given encouragement and given the support that they need. And don't forget, the position he holds is a constitutionally established position, and it's stipulated that in his work he should not be directed. And I admire him for the fact that he's taking his job seriously and wanting to ensure that we do not just occupy the positions and the specs and then enjoy them and just retire and say that we also served in this position in Ghana.
Oh, that is Dr. Charles Rekubrobe. Well, let's move on. The Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, Patrick Yao-Boama, wants metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to up their game in the fight against open defecation. He said it is unpleasant that 1 out of 5 Ghanaians practice open defecation, and as a result, charge district assemblies to do the work they receive their salaries for. Patrick Yao-Boama was speaking at the launch of the Media Coalition in partnership with the Coalition of NGOs in Water and Sanitation, CONEWAS. They've launched a campaign to fight the menace of open defecation in Ghana. Selina Mampo was at the launch and has filed this report.
More than 5 million Ghanaians practice open defecation, largely because of lack of toilet facilities and also because of bad attitudes. The practice is not just shameful, but also exposes the public to numerous health risks. Unfortunately, bushes, fields, and water bodies are used as open defecation grounds. The Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, Patrick Buama, who witnessed the launch of Media Coalition Against Open Defecation, was not too happy with the work of metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies and called on them to be proactive.
You are paid at the end of the month to go around the communities to ensure that people comply with basic things. What money must you be given to go and undertake what you are being paid for at the end of the month? You work in Abekan, for example, my constituency. It's a walking distance to go around down south, Fadama and all the communities to ensure. Must you be given TNT? What other facilities do they need? I don't think there's any excuse in that regard. People must work because they are being paid to perform a certain task.
Deputy Minister said in line with the National Sanitation Campaign, the ministry has trained an environmental task force to prosecute individuals who practice open defecation.
The MMDAs, who are the actual implementers, who are the prosecutors, who are the officials, who are paid by us, by the people of Ghana, must do those functions or perform those functions that you mentioned. So we trained last year, I opened a seminar, we trained over 145 environmental health prosecutors at the African Radiant Hotel. We brought justices from the court who took them through all the laws governing sanitation and how to lead evidence before court when somebody falls foul of the law. So the ministry cannot go out there and be arresting. People have been trained. People are being paid to do that.
The managing director of Multimedia, Santok Singh, describes the trend as alarming and pledged the support of multimedia towards fighting the cause.
Something that what I say is that I'm glad to be part of this coalition, but it's not something new that we are going to do. We have been doing this advocacy for a long time, and we'll continue to do that. This open defecation. This is very alarming, and we have to stop that. Okay, of course we can blame the government for not building enough or not doing enough, not enforcing enough. But at the same time, I also want to force ourselves, that what are we doing as well to eradicate this problem? Like I said to the whole team Media Coalition, that we are committed in multimedia, that we'll continue to do what we are doing, and we'll do it even more aggressively. So thank you.
The Media Coalition pledged to exert pressure on authorities to deliver on promises of ending open defecation and also increase public education. Selinam Ampo report for JoyNews.
And before we go, the chairperson of the National Commission on Civic Education, Josephine Nkrumah, is calling for a rigorous targeting of the attitudes and mindsets of the Ghanaian if the country really wants to achieve its development targets. According to her, it will be a total waste of time to only concentrate on just infrastructure but fail to work on the attitude and mindset of the Ghanaian to fit into a global community. Speaking at a forum organized by the Institute for Educational Planning and Administration, UNICEF, at UCC, the NCCE board said Ghana needs forward-thinking and visionary leaders to surmount the challenges that confront the nation. Well, at the event was Richard Kojonyako. It brings us more.
The chairperson of the NCCE, Josephine Nkrumah, says it is good government pursued infrastructure and other things to develop the country, but she believes all the efforts of government will not yield any fruits if the country does not address the issue of attitudes and the mindset of the people.
The bottom line is values. And as values are universal in scope. And what is honest in Ghana is honest everywhere else. What is integrity everywhere else. And so when we begin to emphasize and purposefully and deliberately teach these values to our youth, to get them to think in that way, then we are headed in the right direction. I think that as a nation, no amount of infrastructure will resolve our problems if our mindset is wrong. If our attitudes are wrong, it doesn't matter how many drains they build, we'll still throw litter in it. So I believe that these issues are universal. And when we begin as a nation to address a national mindset, the reorienting of our mindset to ensure that at all levels of governance, at all levels of society, from the 1-year-old right down to the 90-year-old, we understand what values we stand for as a nation, then we would have begun to resolve our country's many issues.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor George Odro, says if the country really wants to think global, national interest should always override partisan interest and not the current happenings.
Whilst we think about global issues, we must also strengthen the national identity, in which case I'm talking about national character, which we need, particularly in our country where politics is fast dividing us. We need to change that and uphold the nation.
Director of the Institute for Educational Planning and Administration, Brother Michael Amachi, says the institute is going to create a network so the plans formed out of the global citizenship education can be put in place, embracing diversity. Joy News, Cape Coast.
Well, we're done with the news, but you know, we're always giving you information. We have more news. We'll interact. We'll have the latest headlines on the front and back pages of the newspapers, and we're trying to discuss some of the stories critically. We'll look at myjoyonline.com, the BBC if we can, some notable stories that have crossed our minds this morning. But please get interactive throughout the rest of the morning. We have a regular page, Facebook, JoyNews on TV. We have a Twitter handle. Watch us, My Joy Online TV on YouTube. It's very important for us. Mama V Osabwaje is Ajua Yabuain this morning. Good morning to you, Mama V.
Good morning, Roland. I am turning into a model now. I think it's official.
How do you call that what you have?
I have no idea, but I love it.
Yeah, I'm just watching you from the monitor here in the studio. And
how do I look?
Yeah, you look fantastic.
But let me say, first of all, I think it's the fabric that's bringing the beauty of the design. So big shout outs to Woodine, the creator.
That's Woodine, huh?
Yeah, this is definitely Woodine.
Exceptional.
Yeah.
Exceptional. All right. Any surprises you have for us this morning?
Oh, you know, yesterday we started that conversation about the inequality gap. We're expanding that conversation this morning. I'm excited because we have some CSOs. They've been doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
But today we're asking different questions. We've been doing this and talking. Reports have been coming for years now. So really, what is stopping us from bridging that gap? From stopping the poor from becoming poorer every day? Yeah, so that's the angle that I'm hoping to push very strongly this morning, Roland.
Well, it's good that we have these conversations. It will put the duty bearers or those we elect into public office, all those appointed into public office to do the right thing, invest in the resources of the people, create better welfare packages, and improve the social structure we have.
Yeah, but I can't wait, Roland, because tomorrow is the big day. We start the Habitat Fair.
Wow.
And tomorrow is a holiday, right? So
yes, it is.
No excuses at all. Everybody can come to the Providence Event Center. It's at the Trade Fair, just adjacent Auto Chill, and it will be fantastic. We'll have conversations today. We'll find out from some of the exhibitors, particularly those who are headlining, what's up, because after the 2 mini fairs, they have to bring bigger discounts to the main fair. So we're going to push them and find out what's up.
Well, fantastic as it is. But we have to take a break. But I want to say good morning to you. You're a pharmacist. You're with the Boku Presbyterian Hospital. Salifu Combat, my good friend. And Dr. Sana also, you're doing good work. But Salifu, your wife also, Eloni, is also having some good time at the border because she works with the Ghana Immigration Service. I say good morning to you as well. But we have to take a break. When we come back, we have great discussions. We'll review the newspapers. Stick and stay.
AM News Headlines was brought to you by
Exeter Paracetamol, Ernest Chemist, because everyone needs a chemist.